Hey, good morning, everyone. I hope you don't hear the lawnmower that's over here in the yard next door. But I'm on my way to an appointment, so I thought I'd hop on and share something that I just got finished sharing with one of my coaching clients, and I think it's relevant for everyone, myself included. But it's about our response to situations. So much in life is tied to the way we respond to things. We are so complicated as human beings. We have emotions, likes, dislikes, personalities, and life is not black and white. It's complicated, and our response can be complicated as well. We can be content, or we can choose to be discontented. We can choose to be filled with joy, or we can choose to sort of be PO'd about things often. It's when we adjust our thinking or our response, then our attitude becomes adjusted as well. And I know that seems like a no-brainer, but it really takes stopping and being aware of what's going on around you. Think about situations where you may have regretted something, or maybe you felt dishonored or let down, or maybe you missed a great opportunity. And instead of pointing the finger or, passing the buck and blaming somebody, it's really important that we stop in awareness and we start to look inside. And I'm speaking to myself as much as I'm speaking to my clients and to you. We can choose to be deceived and bitter and not trust people. Or we can choose to be, I'm going to learn from my mistakes. Here's an example of a simple example. It's not the best, but it's a simple example of choosing a response. And it just happened to me, so I'm going to use it. I've known for several months that one of my sons had a parents' weekend down in Florida. And obviously parents were invited, and I knew I was going to go. In fact, I registered as soon as I got the email. I even looked online at flights to get there, and I was super excited because Southwest Airlines is my friend, and usually here in St. Louis you can get flights anywhere, and the flights were cheap. But I didn't order tickets. I put it off until 3 days before the trip, and the prices were tripled. No lie, it was crazy. I was like, what? But I was going, so I had to get tickets. I didn't have to, I chose to get tickets. Now here's what I could have done. I could have blamed people. Maybe I could have said, you should have reminded me that the trip was coming up. I can't believe it snuck up on me, and it would have been nice had you told me or reminded me, hey Mom, don't forget to get tickets, even a couple weeks ago. Or I could have, sort of blamed my exhaustion from the last trip I was on. But I didn't. I stopped and I thought, you know what, Lynn, that was a great expensive lesson that you just learned, and you're not going to do it again. Blaming somebody would have not solved anything, and I was super excited. So that's sort of an example, but it's maybe a weaker example. But I was super excited about one of my clients that I was on the phone with yesterday. She was walking through some things where she could have responded in a bad way or a negative way or been down about something, and she said, I stopped and I realized that all of that behavior wouldn't do me any good. So I was super proud of her, because that's what you have to do, is you have to stop sometimes and really be mindful of how you are responding. So introspection, putting yourself sort of under a microscope in that situation, is very important. And sometimes it takes doing over and over until it becomes a habit. It's your chance to learn from an experience. It's our chance to choose an attitude It's our chance to really school our minds to be positive or to be negative, to be upset or to be at peace, to scream your head off or to talk it through. Now, let me take it a step further and go on about the fact that I said human beings are very complex. We are not cut and dry, and our minds are amazing, and what we remember can be amazing. So there's a quote by one of my favorite authors, Viktor Frankl. If you have not read Man's Search for Meaning, I highly recommend it. It's a tiny little book, but it's deep. But so worth the read. And Viktor Frankl was a Holocaust survivor. He was a survivor, and he actually went on to become a psychologist in the sciences. But he is quoted as saying, and be mindful that this is a man that was in a concentration camp. He said that between a stimulus and a response, our response, an event and our response, a stimulus and our response, there's a space. And in that space, we have the power to choose our response. And in our response can either be growth or freedom. Growth and our freedom. So we've got something that happened and our response, but in that something that happened, in the way we can respond, there's a space. And if we choose our response in that space, we can grow and be free. So here's another situation that I just got finished working with a client on about an hour ago. And it's the lies that we can believe. And actually I did a live video, and I've done blogs on the lies that we tell ourselves. But the lies that this client was ready to believe when something happened, I had to school that person to stop. Think about the space in between. What is your response going to be to that memory or that former belief that goes hand in hand with the event that just happened? Because there's power in how you choose. There's power in choosing to respond in a great way so that you can live in freedom. So my message to you today is really very simple. Stop before you respond and think about, will this be giving you power and freedom, growth, or are you just going to fly off the handle and respond maybe the way you always have? There's an opportunity for growth. I personally want to choose freedom and growth. So my challenge for you today is to sort of do a litmus test and watch your response throughout the day to little things, big things, and find out how often you are responding from a powerful standpoint, other than just a flying off the handle, shooting from the hip kind of response. I guarantee if you question your response and live in awareness, there's freedom there. And you will begin to become more happy, filled with joy, at peace, and then I promise you that people will begin to notice and your world will begin to change. So that's my message today. If you got any value out of this and you think somebody needs to hear it, my goodness, this world is filled with opportunities to help each other. So share this video. If you want to check out my website, I know that there are several blogs on there that sort of touch on this subject. If not completely, they just sort of touch on it. So you can check that out as well. And that's just my name, lynnschrader.com. But anyway, besides all that, I thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. And choose your response. Don't let your response choose you. Have a great day.